I want you to picture something with me. You're standing in a ballroom, chandeliers everywhere, the kind that cost more than most people's cars, crystal glasses clinking, laughter that sounds expensive. Everyone's dressed like they're auditioning for the cover of Forbes. This is my husband's company gala, the annual party where Marcus, my husband of 19 years, gets to play king for a night. I helped build this company. Not in the I was supportive way. I mean, I actually built it. I was there in our one-bedroom apartment in Queens when he couldn't make payroll. I sold my grandmother's ring to keep the lights on. I worked 3 jobs while he chased his dream. But tonight, I'm invisible. I walk in wearing the emerald dress Marcus bought me last Christmas. The one he said made me look timeless. I thought he meant elegant. Now I know he meant old. The room goes quiet when I enter. Not the good kind of quiet. The uncomfortable kind. Like everyone knows something. I don't. Then I see why. Marcus is standing by the bar, and his arm is wrapped around a woman who looks like she just stepped out of an Instagram filter. Mid-20s, maybe. Long dark hair. A dress so tight it's practically painted on. She's laughing at something he said, touching his chest the way I used to when we first met. I freeze. He sees me. Our eyes lock across the room. And you know what he does? He smiles. Not an embarrassed, oh God, I've been caught smile. No. A proud smile. Like he's showing off a new car. He raises his glass to me. Actually raises it, like a toast. Then he turns to the group of executives around him, people I've had dinner with, people whose kids I've watched grow up, and he says, loud enough for half the room to hear, "This is Sienna. The woman who truly supports me." I must have misheard him. I must have. Because my husband, the man who promised to love me in front of God and 200 people, did not just introduce his mistress as his real support system. But then Sienna looks at me. Looks right at me. And she tilts her head with this sickeningly sweet smile and says, "Oh, you must be his first wife?" First wife. Like I'm a rough draft. A practice round. Something he's upgraded from. Marcus doesn't correct her. He just sips his champagne. The room is spinning now. I can feel every eye on me. Linda from accounting looks at her shoes. David from legal suddenly finds his phone fascinating. These people, my friends, I thought are pretending I don't exist. Someone whispers. I catch the words. I didn't know she'd actually show up. They knew, they all knew. This wasn't a secret affair, this was public. I was the only one who didn't get the memo that I'd been replaced. Sienna laughs this bright tinkling sound and touches Marcus's tie. My tie. The one I picked out for him last Father's Day. "Baby," she coos, "didn't you say the photographer wants pictures with the board?" Baby. She called my husband baby at his company party. At the company I helped build with my bare hands and maxed out credit cards. Marcus looks at me one more time. There's no apology in his eyes, no guilt, just nothing. Like I'm a stranger. Like 19 years evaporated. He takes Sienna's hand and walks past me. She's wearing perfume, something young and expensive. As she passes, she whispers, just loud enough for me to hear, "Thanks for keeping the seat warm, honey." My chest feels like it's caving in. Like someone reached inside and squeezed. I can't breathe in this room. Can't think. Can't see straight. I turn toward the exit, my heels clicking too loud on the marble floor. Everyone's watching me leave. The scorned wife. The pathetic woman who didn't see it coming. I make it to the lobby. My hands are shaking so hard I can barely hold my phone. I dial the only person I know who will understand. The only person who's loved me longer than Marcus. The only person who warned me 20 years ago that this man would break my heart. She answers on the first ring. "Mom," I whisper. My voice cracks. "Mom, I need you." There's a pause. A long one. And when my mother speaks, her voice is different. Cold. Surgical. The voice she uses when she means business. "Where are you, baby?" "At Marcus's party. Mom. He brought her. He introduced her. In front of everyone. I know, sweetheart." Her voice is so calm it's almost scary. "I know. Now listen to me very carefully. Are you somewhere private?" I look around. The lobby's empty except for a bored coat check girl scrolling her phone. "Yes." "Good. Now I want you to go home. Pour yourself some wine, take a bath, and in the morning, check your bank account." "What?" Mom, I don't. Trust me, Aaliyah. By morning, Marcus is going to need you a lot more than you need him. The line goes dead. I stand there, phone pressed to my ear, mascara probably running down my face, and I realize something. My mother's voice wasn't sad, it wasn't comforting. It was victorious. And somewhere in my chest, underneath all that pain, something shifts, something cold and certain settles into place. I walk back toward the ballroom, not to go inside, just to look through the glass doors one more time. Marcus has Sienna on his arm. He's laughing. He looks so happy, so free. He has no idea what's coming. None of them do. I smile. A real one this time. Thanks for keeping the seat warm, honey, I whisper to no one. Then I turn and walk out into the New York night. The storm hasn't hit yet, but it's coming. I drive home on autopilot. The city blurs past my window's lights, horns, the usual Thursday night chaos of Manhattan. But I'm not really here. I'm back in our apartment in Astoria, the one with the leaky faucet and the neighbor who practiced trumpet at 2 a.m. The place where Marcus and I used to share a twin mattress on the floor because we couldn't afford a bed frame. That was 20 years ago. I can still smell the burnt coffee from that terrible Mr. Coffee machine we got at a garage sale. Marcus would stay up until dawn, scribbling business plans on legal pads, and I'd wake up at 5 a.m. to go to my shift at the diner on 34th Street. People don't know this part. They see Marcus now, the suits, the watch that costs more than my first car, the corner office with the view of the Hudson. They think he was born into it. But I remember when he had $17 in his bank account and a dream that everyone said was stupid. I believed in him. God, I believed so hard it hurt. When his first investor fell through, I sold my mother's Camry, the one she'd saved 3 years to buy. I didn't ask her permission, I just did it. Took it to a dealership in Jersey, got $4,200, and handed Marcus a check. Build your company, I said. He cried, actual tears, held my face in his hands and promised me the world. I worked double shifts that year, mornings at the diner, nights doing data entry for a law firm in Midtown. I'd come home at midnight smelling like coffee and bleach, and Marcus would be at our kitchen table, the one that wobbled unless you put a folded napkin under the left leg, still working. I'd kiss the top of his head. Make him tea. Rub his shoulders. You're going to change the world, I'd whisper. And I meant it. When Boston offered me a position assistant curator at the MFA, my dream job, the thing I'd studied 6 years for, I turned it down. Marcus had just landed his first real client, a contract that could make or break everything. I can't move the company now, he said. We're so close, Aaliyah, so close. My mother begged me not to do it. I can still hear her voice on the phone, tight with worry. Aaliyah, baby, don't ever let anyone rewrite your story. Your dreams matter too. But I was young, I was in love, I thought sacrifice was the same thing as devotion. So I stayed. I helped him write the pitch that landed his Series A funding. Sat up 3 nights in a row editing every word, making sure it sang. When he delivered it to the venture capital firm on Sand Hill Road, I was in the audience, 7 months pregnant with a daughter we'd lose 2 weeks later. Nobody mentions that part either. The baby we named Hope. The nursery I painted yellow because we wanted to be surprised. The tiny clothes I folded and then had to pack away. Marcus threw himself into work after that, said it was easier than feeling. I understood. I threw myself into him, into building his dream since ours had died. I became the woman behind the curtain, the one who remembered every investor's wife's name, every board member's birthday. I planned the dinners, wrote the thank you notes, made sure Marcus looked good. His mother used to introduce me at events. This is Aaliyah, Marcus's supportive wife. Never my name first, never my accomplishments. Just a supportive. Like I was a bra. Functional, invisible, necessary but unimpressive. But I wore it like a badge. I thought it meant I was strong, that I was the kind of woman who didn't need credit because love was enough. I remember the night Marcus's company went public. We were at Cipriani. He gave this beautiful speech about persistence and vision and taking risks. Everyone stood up, applauded for 5 whole minutes. He thanked his team, his investors, his mentors. He forgot to thank me. I told myself it didn't matter, that I knew the truth, and that was enough. But sitting in my car now, outside our brownstone in Brooklyn Heights, the one I found, the one I negotiated the price down on, the one I decorated room by room, I finally let myself feel it. The exhaustion, the invisibility, The slow, quiet erasure of a woman who gave everything and got a footnote. If you've ever given everything to someone who later turned away, you'll understand this part. You'll know that ache. That specific breed of tired that comes from loving someone more than they loved you back. Thank you to everyone who helps keep these stories alive. Every word you share, every act of kindness helps protect those who still believe in family, who still believe sacrifice means something. I sit in the darkness of my car, engine ticking as it cools, and I think about my mother's words. Don't let anyone rewrite your story. I didn't listen then. But tonight, holding my phone with her cryptic promise still ringing in my ears, I realize something. Maybe it's not too late to pick up the pen myself. I walk into my own house like a stranger. The lights are on. All of them. Every room blazing like someone's hosting a party. But the house is silent except for the hum of the refrigerator and the distant sound of a car alarm 3 blocks away. Something's wrong. I can feel it in my bones, the way you feel a storm coming before the sky even darkens. I drop my purse on the console table, the one I refinished myself last spring, and that's when I see it. Papers. Spread across the dining room table like a corpse at a crime scene. Legal documents, the expensive kind, printed on heavy stock with embossed letterhead. My hands are shaking as I pick up the first page. Petition for dissolution of marriage. The words swim. I have to read them 3 times before they make sense. Marcus filed for divorce 2 weeks ago. And I'm just finding out now. On the same night he paraded his mistress in front of 200 people. But it gets worse. I flip through the pages, and each one is a knife. He's claiming sole ownership of the company we built, the one I bled for, the one I sold my mother's car for, the one I gave up Boston for. According to these documents, I contributed nothing. Nothing. There's a section I have to sit down to read it where his lawyer describes me as financially dependent and without marketable skills. Without marketable skills. I have a master's degree from Columbia. I speak 3 languages. I ran operations for his company for 5 years before he hired someone younger and cheaper to replace me. But sure, no marketable skills. My chest feels like it's splitting open. I keep reading because I'm a masochist, apparently. Because I need to see exactly how deep the knife goes. There's more. He's transferred all the company shares to himself. This house, the one I found, is mortgaged to the ceiling. He took out loans against it without telling me. And somehow, those debts are now in my name. $340,000. Consulting contracts I never signed, services never rendered, companies that don't exist. They created fake paperwork, forged my signature, built a paper trail that makes me liable for debts I didn't know existed. I'm numb, actually numb. My fingers are tingling and my vision is narrowing, and I think I might pass out. So they weren't just replacing me. They were erasing me. That's when I hear it. Voice. Upstairs. I freeze. Someone's in my house. In my house. I move toward the stairs like I'm underwater. Everything is slow and thick and wrong. The voices are coming from the master bedroom. Our bedroom. The one with the view of Prospect Park that I picked because I thought we'd grow old here. Marcus's voice, low and smug, signed everything. She doesn't even know yet. A woman's laugh. Sienna. Of course it's Sienna. God, you're ruthless. I love it. By next month, Marcus says, she won't even have a house. Everything's tied up in litigation, and with the debt in her name, she'll be lucky if she can rent a studio in Newark. They laugh. Both of them. The sound is sharp and bright, like breaking glass. I stand there in the hallway, one hand on the wall to keep myself upright, and I understand. This wasn't a midlife crisis. This wasn't a mistake. This was a plan. A calculated, methodical destruction of my life so he could start fresh with a newer model. He didn't just want to leave me, he wanted to ruin me, to make sure I couldn't fight back. To bury me so deep I'd never crawl out. My phone buzzes in my pocket. A text from my mother. Don't react. Not yet. Trust me. I don't know how she knows. I don't know what she's planning. But standing here in the dark hallway of my own home, listening to my husband plot my destruction with the woman he's replacing me with, I make a decision. I don't go upstairs. I don't scream. I don't cry. I turn around, walk back down the stairs, grab my purse, and leave. I close the front door so quietly they probably don't even hear it. If you've ever trusted someone so deeply that their betrayal made you question your own worth, you're not alone. You're not crazy. You're not weak. You just loved someone who didn't deserve it. Thank you to everyone who helps me tell these stories. Your support keeps this space alive for those who still believe that truth somehow will always find its way. I sit in my car in front of my own house and I don't cry. I'm done crying. Something else is taking root now. Something cold and clear and sharp. My phone rings. My mother. "Are you ready?" she asks. I watch the lights in my bedroom window. Watch the shadows moving behind the curtains. "Yes," I say. And for the first time all night, I smile. I'm ready. I don't remember driving to the hotel. One minute I'm sitting in my car outside my brownstone, and the next I'm checking into a courtyard Marriott off the BQE with nothing but my purse and the clothes on my back. The kid at the front desk doesn't look at me, just slides the key card across the counter like I'm invisible. Maybe I am. Room 314, the kind of generic, soulless space that could be anywhere in America. Beige walls, floral bedspread that's been washed 1,000 times, a painting of a boat that means nothing. I sit on the edge of the bed and I don't move. The silence is so heavy it has weight. It presses down on my shoulders, fills my lungs, makes it hard to breathe. I keep waiting to cry, to scream, to throw something. But nothing comes. Just this terrible, suffocating quiet. I check my phone. 3 missed calls from Marcus's mother. Not to ask if I'm okay. I know better than that. She's probably calling to gloat. Or worse, to tell me I should have been a better wife. There's a text from my old friend Jennifer. "Just saw the pics. I'm so sorry. Call me if you need anything." But she won't answer when I call. I know this dance. People say call me, but what they mean is don't make me uncomfortable with your pain. I scroll through Instagram because I'm a glutton for punishment. There they are. Marcus and Sienna. Posted 2 hours ago. They're at some rooftop bar in Tribeca. She's wearing my emerald earrings, the ones Marcus gave me for our 15th anniversary. Her head is on his shoulder. The caption reads, "Power couple energy," with a champagne emoji and a heart. 600 likes already. Comments rolling in. "You two are everything. Finally found your match, Marcus. She's gorgeous. Congrats." No one mentions me. Not one person says, "Hey, isn't he married?" I've been erased, photoshopped out of my own life. I set the phone face down on the nightstand, but I can still see it glowing in the dark. The room is so quiet I can hear the ice machine down the hall, the hum of the mini fridge, my own breathing, shallow and uneven. I think about calling my mother, but I don't know what to say. She told me to trust her, to wait. But waiting feels like drowning in slow motion. I get up, walk to the window, look out at the expressway, red taillights streaming past like blood cells through an artery. All those people going somewhere, living their lives. And here I am, 43 years old, homeless, broke, erased. I open my laptop, the one thing I grabbed from the house, and I do what I always do when I can't sleep. I write. Not for publication, not for anyone, just duff thoughts. A way to prove I still exist. They turned me into a ghost, I type. Not by killing me, by forgetting me, by replacing me so thoroughly that even I started to wonder if I was ever real. Was I that blind? That stupid? Or was I just that in love? My hands are shaking, the cursor blinks, waiting. I think about the woman I was at 24, the one who believed in happy endings, who thought love was enough, who gave everything because she thought it would be given back. That woman is gone now. I don't know who's left in her place. The next morning, or maybe it's the same night, I've lost track. I'm still sitting in the chair by the window. I haven't slept, haven't eaten. I just sat. My phone buzzes, a number I don't recognize. I almost don't answer, but something makes me pick up. "Mrs. Hayes?" A woman's voice, professional, crisp. "Yes?" "This is Amanda Chen from New York Magazine. I'm doing a story on Marcus Hayes and his company, and I was hoping to get a comment from you regarding..." I hang up. 2 minutes later, another call. Different number. Same question. They want a quote. A reaction. They want me to play the scorned wife on the record so they can sell papers. I turn off my phone. If you've ever sat in a room so quiet it started to echo your thoughts, you'll understand this silence. It's not peaceful. It's suffocating. Like being buried alive in your own head. Thank you to those who help keep these stories alive. Your kindness helps give voice to people who've been forgotten, who sit alone in their pain, waiting to be seen again. I sit there until the sun comes up, until the sky turns from black to gray to that weak, watery blue that means it's morning. I haven't moved, haven't cried, haven't broken. I'm just here. Empty. Numb. Erased. But then my phone buzzes one more time. A text from my mother. Just 3 words. It's time, baby. And something in my chest, something I thought was dead, flickers. Just once. Like a pilot light that refuses to go out. I stand up. My legs are stiff. My body aches. But I stand. And I text back. I'm ready. The knock on the hotel room door comes at 7:43 a.m. I know it's my mother before I even open it. I can feel her through the wood, that particular energy she brings, like a storm front moving in. I open the door. Marjorie Baptiste stands there in a charcoal suit, her silver hair pulled back tight, her eyes sharp as broken glass. She's 71 years old, and she looks like she could destroy empires before lunch. She takes one look at me unwashed, still in last night's dress, mascara probably halfway down my face, and her jaw tightens. "Show me everything," she says. No hug. No "are you okay, baby?" Just business. That's when I know this is serious. I spread the divorce papers across the hotel desk, the fake consulting contracts, the debt transfers, the forged signatures, all of it. My mother puts on her reading glasses, the ones she only wears when she's about to ruin someone's life, and she reads, slowly, methodically. Her finger stops on a line item, a consulting fee, $340,000 to a company called Apex Strategic Solutions. "This company," she says quietly, "it doesn't exist." I know. And this signature. She taps my name. "That's not how you sign your A." I lean closer. She's right. The forgery is good, but not perfect. The loop is wrong. My mother takes off her glasses. Her eyes are black fire. "Aaliyah, they're not just stealing from you. They're laundering money through a shell company and pinning it on you." Her voice is surgical. "This is criminal fraud." The room tilts. I have to sit down. "There's more," she says. She's not looking at me now. She's looking at something else. A memory. This isn't the first time Marcus has done this. What? His first company. The one before the tech firm. He had a co-founder. A woman named Patricia Chen. She put in 60% of the capital. Marcus pushed her out, claimed she'd mismanaged funds, forged documents, made her look incompetent. My stomach drops. What happened to her? She fought him in court for 3 years, lost everything. Last I heard, she was working at a Target in Paramus. I can't breathe. "He did this before," I whisper, and nobody stopped him. "No," my mother says, "but we're going to stop him now." She pulls out her phone, makes a call. It's time. Room 314. 10 minutes later, there's another knock. My mother opens the door, and 3 people walk in like characters from a legal thriller. A woman in her 50s with steel gray hair. My mother introduces her as Catherine Reeves, senior partner at a litigation firm that makes grown men cry. A thin man with wire-rimmed glasses. Daniel Park, forensic accountant, the kind who finds money hidden in offshore accounts and shell corporations. And finally, a black woman with an SEC badge clipped to her belt. Angela Moore, former federal auditor, now consultant on financial crimes. They don't waste time on pleasantries. Daniel spreads the documents across both beds. Catherine photographs everything with her phone. Angela's already on her laptop, pulling up corporate records. 5 minutes pass in silence. Then Daniel looks up. "This is textbook wire fraud," he says. "And if these signatures are forged, which they are, that's identity theft, federal crime." Catherine nods slowly. "And if he transferred assets while a divorce was pending, that's dissipation of marital property. We can pierce that corporate veil so fast his head will spin." Angela closes her laptop, looks at me for the first time. "Mrs. Hayes," she says, "I think you need to prepare yourself. Because when we pull this thread, a lot more than a marriage is going to unravel. If you've ever found truth in the quiet moments after pain, you know what this part feels like. The world coming back into focus. The fog lifting. The realization that you're not crazy, you were just surrounded by liars. Thank you to everyone who supports these stories. Your kindness keeps hope alive for people still finding their voice after betrayal." My mother sits down next to me. Takes my hand. "They tried to erase you, baby," she says softly. "Let's make sure the world remembers your name." I look at the faces around me. These strangers who showed up because my mother made one phone call. And for the first time in days, I smile. Let's burn it all down. There comes a point when silence stops meaning defeat. It becomes preparation. I sit in that hotel room for 3 days, not moving, not reacting, just planning. Catherine, Daniel, and Angela work around me like surgeons around a patient, papers spread across every surface, laptops open, phone calls made in hushed, urgent tones. But me? I'm quiet. I drink bad hotel coffee, and I think, for years, I mistook generosity for love. Now, I'm learning the quiet math of self-respect. On day 2, Daniel looks up from his laptop, eyes wide. Aaliyah, you still have admin access to the company server. I blink. What? Your login. It's still active. Marcus never revoked it. Catherine leans forward. That means you can see everything. Every email, every file transfer, every document. I stare at my hands. These hands that built that company, that typed those first business plans, that held Marcus when he was terrified of failure. Show me how, I say. Daniel turns his laptop toward me, walks me through it. And just like that, I'm inside. 20 years of emails, financial records, board meeting minutes, everything. I start downloading, systematically, methodically. Every email Marcus sent in the last 6 months, every invoice, every contract. It takes 4 hours. When I'm done, I have 17 gigabytes of data backed up to 3 separate drives. Angela watches me work with something like respect in her eyes. You're a natural, she says. I don't smile. I built this company. I know where all the bodies are buried. On day 3, Catherine gets a call. She steps into the bathroom, comes back 5 minutes later. We have a problem, she says. Marcus is trying to sell the company. My heart stops. What? Daniel's already pulling up documents. Here, he's in talks with a private equity firm. Sale price, $42 million. Closing date, 3 weeks from now. I do the math in my head. If he sells before the divorce is finalized, before I can prove fraud, he walks away with everything and I'm left holding fake debt. He's running, I whisper. My mother, who's been silent in the corner, finally speaks. Let him run, she says. Her voice is ice. Let him dig the hole deeper. She makes a phone call. I can only hear her side. Yes, it's Marjorie. I need you to pose as investors from the Kellerman Fund. That's right. Tell him you're interested, but you need to see full financials first. I don't care if he's suspicious. Make him show you everything. She hangs up, looks at me. In 48 hours, Marcus is going to hand over every piece of financial documentation to people who work for us. He'll do it himself. He'll think he's closing a deal. He'll be building his own cage. I feel something shift in my chest. Not anger anymore. Something colder. Clearer. Purpose. That night, my phone starts ringing. Marcus. 6 times in a row. Then Sienna. Then Marcus's mother. I don't answer. I just watch the screen light up, over and over, like distant fireworks. It's funny how silence can sound like thunder when guilt starts to echo. A text from Marcus. We need to talk. Call me. Then another. Aaliyah, this is childish. Answer your phone. Then an hour later. Fine. Have it your way. My lawyer will be in touch. I set the phone face down and go back to work. Catherine has me recording everything, voice memos, video diaries, documentation of every conversation, every discovery, every moment. If this goes to court, she explains, you need a narrative, your version of events, time-stamped and preserved. So I record. I talk to my phone like it's a confessor. I tell it about the years of sacrifice. The Boston job I turned down, the baby we lost, the company I built with my bare hands. I don't cry when I record. My voice is steady, clear. They taught me that love meant giving. Today, I'm teaching myself that love can also mean stopping. On day 5, Angela gets a hit. Cayman Islands account, she says, showing me her screen. Opened 8 months ago. $3.2 million transferred in increments over 6 months. My breath catches. 3 million? That we've found so far. There might be more. Catherine makes a note. That's dissipation of marital assets, concealment of funds. We can freeze those accounts with one phone call. Not yet, my mother says. She's at the window looking out at the city. Let him think he's safe. Let him move more money. The bigger the fraud, the harder he falls. I should feel something. triumph maybe, or satisfaction, but all I feel is tired. And strangely, free. For the first time in 20 years, I'm not thinking about Marcus, not worrying about his needs, his feelings, his success. I'm thinking about me. What I want, what I deserve, what I'm going to take back. That evening, I get an email from Marcus's lawyer. Subject, settlement conference, urgent. They want to meet. Tomorrow, to expedite the dissolution process. Catherine reads it over my shoulder. They're panicking, she says. They want you to sign before you figure out what they've done. What do I do? She smiles. You go to the meeting. You sit down. You listen. And you don't sign a damn thing. I look at my mother. She nods. Let them talk, she says. Every word is a confession. I reply to the email. I'll be there. Then I close my laptop, and I stand at the window, watching the sun set over Brooklyn. For the first time, I didn't need them to hear me. My silence had already spoken. And tomorrow, they're going to learn just how loud quiet can be. The conference room at Hayes Digital sits on the 42nd floor of a glass tower in Midtown, floor-to-ceiling windows, view of the Empire State Building. The kind of room where deals get made and careers get buried. I've been in this room 100 times. I used to bring coffee to these meetings, smile at the board members, play the supportive wife. Today, I walk in like I own the place. Because legally, I do. Marcus is already seated at the head of the table. Sienna's next to him, dressed like she's applying for a job at Vogue. His lawyer, Richard Chen, is shuffling papers. The board members, 6 men in expensive suits, look bored. They all turn when I walk in. Marcus's face goes through 3 emotions in 2 seconds. Confusion, annoyance, recognition. Aaliyah, he says carefully. This is a closed meeting. Not anymore. Behind me, my mother enters, then Catherine in her power suit, then Daniel with his laptop, then Angela Moore with her SEC badge visible on her hip. The room temperature drops 10 degrees. Richard Chen stands up. Mrs. Hayes, you can't just— Sit down, Richard, Catherine says. Her voice could cut glass. We're all going to sit down and have a conversation. Marcus tries to smile, that old charm. Honey, if this is about the settlement, we can talk privately. Stop calling me honey. My voice is steady. Cold. And no, Marcus, we're doing this here, in front of witnesses. I walk to the table. Set down my bag. Pull out a folder, the kind that's heavy with consequences. Let's talk numbers. I slide the first document across the table, an offshore account statement. Cayman Islands National Bank. Account opened March 2024. Current balance, $3.2 million. I look at the board members. Company funds. Transferred in increments small enough to avoid automatic reporting. Marcus's jaw tightens. That's a legitimate business account. For what? I slide another document. This shell corporation? Apex Strategic Solutions? The one with no employees, no office, no contracts? I lean forward. The one where Sienna is listed as managing director? Sienna's face goes white. She looks at Marcus like he's supposed to save her. He doesn't. This is ridiculous, Marcus says, but his voice cracks. You're making wild accusations. Am I? Daniel opens his laptop, turns it around. A video starts playing. It's Marcus. At the gala. His voice crystal clear. By next month, she won't even have a house. Everything's tied up in litigation. And with the debt in her name, she'll be lucky if she can rent a studio in Newark. The board members lean forward, watching, listening. Sienna's laugh comes through the speakers next, bright and cruel. Marcus stands up so fast his chair tips over. Where did you get that? Security footage, Angela says calmly. From the Mandarin Oriental. Time-stamped. Authenticated. Admissible. I slide another document. Here's my favorite part, the consulting contracts you forged. The ones you used to saddle me with $340,000 in debt. Richard Chen is reading now, his face going gray. Marcus, did you? These signatures, I continue pointing, aren't mine. The handwriting analysis will prove it. But just for fun, let's talk about the companies you build. Meridian Solutions. Vertex Strategic Group. Want to guess what they have in common? Silence. They don't exist, they're ghost companies. Registered addresses are P.O. boxes in Delaware. No employees, no tax filings, just money moving in circles. One of the board members, Jim Kowalski, who I've known for 15 years, looks at Marcus. Jesus Christ, Marcus. Is this true? Marcus's hands are shaking. This is a setup. She's bitter about the divorce. I'm trying to keep you out of prison, I say quietly, but I'm not sure you deserve it. Angela stands. Produces a document. Marcus Hayes, you're officially under investigation by the Securities and Exchange Commission for wire fraud, identity theft, and misappropriation of corporate funds. She sets the paper in front of him. That's your subpoena. You have 72 hours to surrender all financial records. The room is silent except for the hum of the air conditioning. Sienna starts crying. Actual tears. I didn't know, she whispers. Marcus, you said it was legal, you said. Shut up, Marcus hisses. No, I say, let her talk. Let everyone hear how you manipulated her too. But Sienna just keeps crying, mascara running, looking young and stupid and scared. I almost feel sorry for her. Almost. Save it, I tell her. You were never worth the collateral damage. Marcus looks at me now. Really looks at me. And for a second, I see it, the man I married. The one who cried when I sold my mother's car. The one who promised me the world. That man is gone. Maybe he never existed. Aaliyah, he whispers, please. I pick up my bag. My mother stands beside me. Catherine gathers her files. Gentlemen, I say to the board, you might want to elect a new CEO. This one's about to be very busy. I walk to the door. Stop. Turn back. One more thing, Marcus. The house? I'm keeping it. The car? Keeping that too. And every single share of this company that I helped build? I smile. Those are mine. My lawyers will be in touch. I don't wait for a response. I walk out into the hallway, my heels clicking on marble, and I don't look back. Behind me, I hear shouting. Marcus's voice, desperate and shrill. But I don't care anymore. For the first time in 20 years, his voice doesn't matter. Only mine does. After the verdict, silence became my favorite sound. It was the sound of justice finally breathing. I don't go back to the hotel. I don't need to hide anymore. Instead, I drive to Brooklyn Heights. To the brownstone. My brownstone. Catherine already had the locks changed. New keys waiting for me at her office. When I walk through the door, it smells different. Cleaner. Like someone opened all the windows and let the old air out. Marcus's things are gone, packed up by a service, stored in a facility in Queens that he'll have to pay for himself, if he can afford it. I walk through the room slowly, touch the walls. The kitchen counter where I used to make coffee at 5 a.m. The living room where we used to watch movies on Sunday nights, back when we still liked each other. It feels like a museum of a life I don't recognize anymore. But it's mine now, really mine. I make tea, sit by the window, watch the sun set over the park. My phone buzzes. A text from Catherine. Hayes digital stock down 34% today. Board voted to remove Marcus as CEO. SEC investigation officially public. It's all over Bloomberg. I don't reply. Just set the phone down and keep watching the light change. I hear things, of course. You can't avoid gossip in New York, especially when it involves a tech CEO and federal fraud charges. Marcus moved out of the city, some rental in Hoboken. Couldn't afford Manhattan anymore, apparently. The legal fees alone are bleeding him dry. His mother calls me once. I don't answer. She leaves a voicemail, 20 minutes of her crying, begging me to remember the good times, asking me to show mercy. I delete it without listening to the whole thing. Mercy is what I showed for 19 years. I'm all out. Sienna, I'm told, left the city entirely, went back to wherever she came from. Ohio, maybe? Someone said they saw her working retail at a mall in Cincinnati. I don't know if that's true. I don't care enough to find out. People who used to work at Hayes Digital, people who ignored me at that gala, who whispered about me being the ex, those people message me now. Apologies. Explanations. Invitations to coffee. I don't respond to most of them. Linda from accounting sends flowers with a note. I should have said something. I'm so sorry. I keep the flowers. Throw away the note. 3 weeks after the confrontation, I'm at a coffee shop in Park Slope, reading, minding my business. A woman approaches my table. Mid-50s. Looks familiar, but I can't place her. Aaliyah? She says tentatively. I look up. I'm Patricia Chen. I don't know if Marcus ever mentioned me. It takes me a second. Then I remember. The first co-founder. The one Marcus destroyed. I know who you are, I say quietly. She smiles. It's sad. I saw the news. About the investigation. I just wanted to say, thank you. For what? For doing what I couldn't. For standing up. For making sure he didn't get away with it again. We talk for an hour. She tells me her story. The legal battle that bankrupted her. The years of rebuilding. The shame she carried. I thought I was weak, she says, for letting him win. You weren't weak, I tell her. You were alone. That's different. When she leaves, she hugs me. A real hug, the kind that means something. You're stronger than you know, she whispers. I don't feel strong, I just feel done. My mother comes over one evening, brings Chinese food. We eat in the living room, boxes spread out on the coffee table. How are you? She asks. I shrug, surviving. That's not what I asked. I set down my chopsticks. Look at her. I'm tired, Mom. I'm angry. I'm sad. And somehow I'm okay, all at the same time. She nods. That's called healing. It doesn't feel like healing. It feels like existing. That's how it starts, baby. You exist. Then you live. Then you thrive. I want to believe her. I hear through the grapevine that Marcus tried to reach out to investors, tried to start a new company. No one would touch him. The SEC investigation made sure of that. He's radioactive now, untouchable. Someone told me he's working for a startup in Newark, mid-level position, the kind of job he used to make fun of. I didn't need to ruin him, his lies had already done that. I start sleeping better. The nightmares stop. The panic attacks fade. I take walks in Prospect Park, join a book club, start painting again, something I gave up when Marcus said we couldn't afford the mess. One morning I wake up and realize I haven't thought about him in 3 days. That feels like victory. People ask me if I'm angry, if I want revenge. The truth is simpler than that. I don't think about Marcus anymore. Not really. He's a chapter I've closed, a scar that's healed into something I barely notice. They used to whisper that I'd lost my mind. Now they avoid their own reflections. Karma works quietly, without announcement, without fanfare. You don't need to chase it. You just need to step out of its way. 6 months after everything, I'm standing in my kitchen, morning light coming through the windows, coffee brewing, music playing softly. And I realize something. I'm happy. Not the wild, dizzy happiness of new love, not the fragile happiness that depends on someone else. Just contentment, peace. I didn't destroy Marcus. He destroyed himself the day he betrayed the wrong woman. Some debts don't need to be collected. Life has its own way of balancing the books. And me? I'm finally living in the black. After the noise fades, what's left isn't victory, it's understanding. I'm sitting on the fire escape of my brownstone. It's early evening, the kind of light that turns Brooklyn gold. The air smells like someone's grilling in their backyard 3 houses down. A kid's laughing somewhere. Life. Just happening. I've got a glass of wine in my hand, the cheap kind from the bodega on the corner. Tastes better than all the champagne at Marcus's parties ever did. My phone's inside. Silent. I stopped checking it obsessively about 2 months ago. Stopped waiting for apologies that were never coming. Stopped refreshing the news to see if Marcus had been formally charged yet. I realized something. I didn't need to watch him fall anymore. I'd already stood back up. Justice isn't about watching them fall. It's about standing again without hate. That's the part they don't tell you about revenge. How hollow it feels when you finally get it. How the satisfaction lasts maybe 5 minutes before you realize you're still you, still carrying all that weight. My mother comes over most Sundays now. We don't talk about Marcus. We talk about her new project, a consulting firm for women rebuilding after divorce. She wants me to co-found it with her. You've been through it, she says. You know what it feels like. That's worth more than any MBA. I told her I'd think about it. But honestly, I'm already thinking yes. Not because I need the money, the settlement gave me enough. And not because I want to relive the pain. But because maybe, just maybe, I can help someone else not feel as alone as I did. I used to believe love meant giving everything. Now I know love also means knowing when to stop. That's the lesson I wish I'd learned at 24. That generosity without boundaries isn't love, it's erasure. That sacrifice without reciprocity isn't devotion, it's self-destruction. I gave Marcus 19 years. My youth. My career. My dreams. My grandmother's ring. My mother's car. Pieces of myself I'll never get back. And you know what he gave me in return? Allez son. A painful, expensive, soul-crushing lesson. But a lesson nonetheless. I've started painting again. Nothing fancy. Just watercolors on cheap paper. Landscapes mostly. The view from Prospect Park. The bridge at sunset. Small, quiet things. I'm not good at it. But that's not the point. The point is I'm doing something for me. Because I want to. Not because it serves someone else's dream. Last week, I ran into David from Marcus's company, the one who looked at his shoes when Marcus introduced Sienna. He stopped me on the street, stammered an apology. I should have said something, he said. At the party. I knew it was wrong, I was scared. I looked at him for a long moment. This middle-aged man with mortgage payments and kids in college and a boss who turned out to be a criminal. It's okay, I said. And I meant it. Not because he deserved forgiveness, but because I deserved peace. There's a difference. Forgiveness isn't a gift you give to the person who hurt you, it's a gift you give yourself. It's the moment you decide their actions no longer get to define your happiness. I think about Marcus sometimes. Not often, but sometimes. I wonder if he's learned anything. If he lies awake at night thinking about what he did. If he regrets it. Probably not. People like Marcus don't do regret, they do rationalization. They tell themselves they deserved more, that I wasn't enough, that Sienna was an upgrade. And you know what? Let them. I'm done trying to change someone else's narrative. I'm done needing validation from people who can't even validate themselves. If my story teaches anything, it's this. Kindness without boundaries isn't love, it's surrender. I see Patricia Chen once a month now. We get coffee. Talk about our lives, our businesses, our healing. She's thriving now. Running a small design firm in Williamsburg. Happy. You saved me, she said once. When you took Marcus down, you gave me permission to stop feeling ashamed. I didn't know what to say to that. So I just held her hand across the table. Justice didn't just happen in a courtroom. It happened in moments like that. In Patricia, reclaiming her story. In me, reclaiming mine. The sun's almost down now, the sky's turning that deep purple, that means night's coming. I can hear the city settling in sirens in the distance, someone's music playing, the rumble of the subway beneath the street. I take a sip of wine. Close my eyes. Feel the breeze on my face. People think revenge is fire, it's not. Revenge is clarity. It's the moment you stop begging to be seen. And you show the world who you really are. Not who they said you were, not who they needed you to be, just to you, in all your flawed, complicated, beautiful humanity. I'm 43 years old. Starting over. Rebuilding a life from ashes. And for the first time in 2 decades, I'm not scared. Justice gave me back my name. But peace gave me back myself. If you've ever lost yourself trying to love someone who only saw your worth in numbers, I hope my story reminds you, it's never too late to choose yourself. Thank you for keeping these stories alive. Stories where justice doesn't shout, it heals. I finish my wine. Stand up. Brush off my jeans. Inside, my laptop's waiting. My mother sent over the business plan for the consulting firm. I told her I'd read it tonight. I think it's time to build something new. Something that's mine. Something that matters. I walk inside, close the fire escape door behind me, and I smile. Not because everything's perfect, but because I'm finally free.